was like I was going to eat a raw organ.
And that's how she gets introduced to the ancestors.
I basically like kept him a secret until Feb.
Anika was my first relationship, hence why the wedding was paid for early. It was a Tuesday morning at the BA building on campus. And I knew from that day that if I'm not marrying this girl, she's going to be my best friend for life. Since that first day I saw her, then I didn't see her for 2 months. But I always knew that, yeah, that's the one there.
Because it's like we knew each other just from the start. We never ever stopped talking since 15 September 2018.
Yeah.
We have a few anniversary dates.
For me, Anika was my first relationship. I've never been in a relationship before that, so this is my first time with everything. Dating outside race, dating in general. In general. Yeah, so I married my first girlfriend. I did, but I was never a relationship person until I met the person who I'm married to now.
But like, if dating counts as like dating, he's my second boyfriend I've ever had. And that wasn't outside of my race or culture. But I've like mini dates, nyana, with other races and cultures.
The reason why, or how we came to getting married. I went home in January 2022. My older brother and older sister were also planning their weddings. So I said, cool, because I also want to get married. But now, who's getting married first? And then they were busy planning. I said, okay, you guys already know your dates. I'll choose the last date of the year. I told them I'm going to get married in December. No one believed me. So I came back to Johannesburg because that December I went home alone because there was a ceremony at home.
Mkidi.
My little brother's Mkidi. I came back, I told Anika, I want to get married and we're going to get married in December. And she was like, oh, okay. So we did things backwards.
Yeah.
We planned the wedding before I proposed.
Yeah.
So by the time I proposed, the planning and the payments of the wedding stuff was already done. So when you want to get married, marry someone you already know what you guys want.
We've always wanted to get married. Like, still at varsity, we would like sit in our little raised room and say we want to get married. Just life relationship advice is make sure you and your partner have the same intentions.
Yes.
And so like we have always been very clear about our intentions. So it was like an easy journey.
Because we decided to get married in January, I proposed in August. But the wedding stuff had already been paid in July.
But in your like culture, you don't propose.
We don't propose because in my culture, we would have done the lobola negotiations. It's just that in this case, we didn't do lobola negotiations because when I spoke to her mom and dad, because I got permission from the dad and then I spoke to the mom said, everything is fine, but I can't take the lobola because it's not my culture. So you can take that money and use it towards the wedding. Hence why the wedding was paid for early.
The biggest culture shock was most recent. I think there's a lot, like a few ones, but like they're funny to me. They're not like culture shock. But we went to Sihle's late brothers, the what's it, begrafplaas? The cemetery. The cemetery, begrafplaas, I don't know, to visit. And then my sister Anandi was also there. And we were like standing around and next thing like this, we walked past this grave and there was like, what was it? Like equivalent to me, like a voodoo doll type of thing. But I didn't like realize at the moment, and my sister and I, because we like things, we were like, what is this? We like go closer, we want to like look at it. Next thing, everyone, because it was you, your parents, everyone was like, just walk away, just walk past it. And I was so scared afterwards that something bad was going to happen to me because I got too close to this thing. I didn't know what it was. And they just said like some people do like bad things, like just like you stay away from it or whatever. And then I was scared after that. But then something that I think everyone does, but I know we don't do it, is after you've been to a cemetery, you need to wash your hands before you go back into the house. And I actually like that because it made me feel better about what just almost happened to me at the cemetery.
My biggest culture shock was finding out that the Afrikaans culture and the Xhosa culture are very similar. That was my biggest culture shock. I was like, what? We are the same. We were raised the same and everything we do was very similar. So I didn't have a culture shock like, oh, why do you do this? For me, it was, how are we so similar? And people don't know that. That was my biggest culture shock. The way we raised, discipline. Household-wise, we were raised with the same discipline and manners. The way we eat, the food we eat, very similar. Even the way our roles in families are very the same. The wife does this, the husband does this, and this is your role. Same thing on my side. It's all the same.
Could be our families, but
could.
like it sounds like we grew up very similar.
Similar.
So there's been culture shocks, but it's also been very easy for us to, from these different cultures, to come together because some things just aligned. So it wasn't like this big challenge in overcoming things. It was quite easy to get into like living together.
Then you live together and like, what? We do things the same. The way people of color react to me having a white wife is always jovial. So they're always happy. Nani, get in the land. They're always so happy. They're always like, yeah, I wish I was you. Like, yo, big ups. They always give me fist bumps. And it's always, of which I find that funny. Because if I was with a person of color, they wouldn't have said that.
Sihle and I like officially started dating in October. And then I basically like kept him a secret to my parents until Feb the next year. But it wasn't even about the race thing. Like, and I think that's also something that's very similar. You don't just introduce anyone to your parents. Like, you're not going to introduce any 5-week boyfriend or whoever to your parents. So like, I was just testing it out. Are we going to last the December holiday where I'm at home, he's at home, long distance? And we were back in Feb. And then that day I decided I'm going to tell my parents I was scared. Then I got scared like of the race thing. But I told my mom and she's like, I don't know why, because I was crying and everything. I was just scared, I don't know, and I'm an overthinker. And she said, like, does he treat you well? Does he love you? That's great. Like, then there's no issue. Because Shame, she was cute. She even said her grandfather, she even said like he would have approved as well. Like, she doesn't come from a family like that. Like, it's not a thing. And then my dad warmed up and like invited us over, got to know Sihle, and they bride together and everything. So that was fine. Friends wise, I don't surround myself with friends that I don't align with, like morally. So there hasn't been any stories with like my friends. They were cut off like a long time ago if they showed red flags.
Oh, my family was very happy. At the traditional wedding, you're supposed to eat utsig, which is the bride-to-be eats the neck of the goat. So the way that's prepared is it's boiled, and then she gets given amasi. What's amasi in English? Sour milk. And then she has to dip and eat. And that's how she gets introduced to the ancestors. But in our case, we couldn't do the whole slaughtering because of the death in the family, because you can't celebrate and mourn at the same time.
Because all of that is supposed to happen on the same day.
Yes. Yeah. So what we did was we pushed back the utsigi to March. And then Anika got dressed. So she got dressed by my older sister and younger sister and my cousin. But my mom was overlooking the whole thing because you can't let unmarried people just dress her because we don't know how she might come out looking. She has to look a certain way.
But your older sister is married, Shame, credit.
Shame.
Yeah.
But she also didn't know what was happening. She wasn't sure. Yeah. Then when they dressed her on the side, like in private, and then you bring her back, then to introduce her to everyone. Okay, they brought her back with a Makoti outfit and introduced her as Ugungendan. That's the name she got. And then those were the festivities of that day of the traditional wedding. Then in March, when we did Utsigi, we had to go back. This time it coincided with her changing her Makoti outfit because you wear a certain color for 3 months, which is blue and brown. Then after 3 months, you can change your colors for your Makoti attire. Historically, in your first 3 months, you would spend it there at the house. Yes, and those blue and brown are so people can see that this is the new Makoti. Yeah. After everything, she had to serve tea to everyone.
But I'm a pro.
But she's a pro.
So we had our white wedding on the Friday and the traditional wedding on the Saturday. But like normal stress and excited. I don't like a big fuss around me like when it's my birthday or wedding. So I've been leading up to the wedding, I was downplaying everything. So everyone was like, oh, you're getting married, whatever. I was like, yeah. But I would just be like nervous. I didn't want to make a big deal out of it. So it was quite like chilled. It was just my family there in the house. Sihle was there till late and everyone was stressing over normal things. It wasn't like a big fuss. Yeah. And then after the white wedding, yeah, you came home with us. And then the next morning, the worst was like over, we've done this now. I was just stressed about how I'm going to tie my duk because it was a very complicated duk. But Sihle helped me. So it wasn't like, it was fine.
I'm that person, I don't get scared of things I don't know. So I was just excited the whole time. Leading up to the wedding, even on the day of the wedding, I was just excited. Just waiting at the venue, like, I need this thing to start now. Our wedding ceremony was 2 days, but the whole wedding process for us was actually 3 months because we had to prolong Utsigi and do it in March. Compared to others, it was short.
And I think also wearing the Makoti attire for 3 months and still being here now in Joburg and people like asking and being happy for us and whatever, that also made it feel like it's ongoing. And then that ended the same time as Utsiki. So I would say like 3 months.
It was 3 months.
So when I told my family about everything that needs to happen, especially for the traditional wedding, I like being dramatic. Like I like being over the top, even like it's not even gonna happen. Like I knew the Lobola thing, for example, wasn't gonna happen, but I would like give the most extreme scenario, like this needs to happen. Like I was just freaking them out for fun actually. And like Utsiki as well, like the way I told them, they thought it was raw. That like it was like I was gonna eat a raw organ or something. Like I just made everything sound so bad, but they know like I'm an open, free person, and there's like a boundary, like they don't cross that boundary, like they're not living my life, so they don't like comment or get involved. So they understood that at the end of the day when I got serious what they had to do, and it was fine. Like they knew I'm going through this, like maybe as long as they didn't have to eat the neck with amasi, then it's fine. So it was, but I think I made it like just funny in the way I did it. It was like there wasn't like a big like shocked moment for what needs to happen because they know it's me and they just need to be there for the wedding. So for example, the singing, they knew they wouldn't know any of the songs and they were all just there with their cell phones. So everything, we just worked with it and it was fine, like smooth sailing. The only clash I experienced during the wedding, and I would say like that's probably also when I spoke earlier about the culture clash, a big one. And I had to rewire my brain, and his sister Kanye actually sent me a message to explain to me the importance of like honoring your ancestors. So with this thing about not having the traditional wedding on that day or not having the full one because there was a death in the family, I think like where our culture is viewed very differently is the people who are alive, for us, are more important than the people who have passed away. Whereas I feel like in African cultures with the ancestors, they are actually more important. Like the ancestors like protect you, and you like, is honor the right word? Well, at least when you have family members pass away, you need to honor their lives and their death. And so for me, I couldn't understand how we are alive and our wedding has to be minimized or moved for someone who passed away. Like, and I just thought like this funeral can be moved, like something can happen, like we're alive now, like the present is now, like let's have this wedding and celebrate being alive and happy and whatever. I think I can have like a conversation, like the important conversations, like what do you want, what do you want to eat, what are you doing, like I can have a mini conversation. Yeah, I can. We had a conversation yesterday. Yeah.
With me, I can understand Afrikaans fully. It's just some words I'll struggle with. It's the talking that I struggle with. Like when it comes to my mother-in-law, she speaks to me in Afrikaans, I answer in English. So I can understand Afrikaans. It's the talking Afrikaans.
And she loves it. But sometimes he gets lost because we speak really fast.
So that beats me sometimes.
But you can have a conversation, like you can, yeah. So when something big happens, I like to celebrate with food. Like my whole family, we've always done it. But we actually like sweet things. So we'll do like cake and ice cream and mostly sweet things. But I do make like a big deal if something even small happens. I'll cook food, but not something specific. I've only recently started like focusing on like what can I make that's like Xhosa home food for Sihle. Otherwise, I just cook whatever. I actually cook funny things. Stuff my mom even wouldn't cook, like stuff with a lot of garlic and funny things. But mostly sweet stuff. It needs to be something sweet.
Very dessert. Yeah.
Is it like that? Do you guys know it like that?
You guys have a lot of desserts. So that's why we eat a lot of desserts. So it would, lean more towards the Afrikaans culture.
Cooks is marble pudding, peppermint ijskaarstaart, pineapple tart, sago pudding, eistervarkies, hertoggies. When I go home, I definitely will forever have to do the Makoti duties and dress in the Makoti attire. And it's fine, like he has a lot of siblings and they all help and everyone's very relaxed. It's like, you would say like modern approach to the culture.
To the traditional
So it's just like when we're there and when mama goes to work, she's like, I'm leaving and you're now the only...
You're in charge.
Yeah, you're in charge now. So then like that day, for example, there was a day we just went to go buy groceries, I cooked food and it was fine, it was cool. Every time we go to Sihle's house, Grahamstown, I'm still surprised at how like welcoming your parents are. Like literally anyone and everyone can come and just stay there, which is so like polar opposite to what I grew up with. Like we didn't even have like friend sleepovers, like not even like a friend or like an aunt is staying here visiting. Like we've always just been like the core family in the house. And like when we're there, like the whole world is coming, visiting, sleeping, eating. I feel like, do you guys even know who's there at all times? Because then like, oh, there's someone. And it's also like, this is another thing that sort of surprises me. Like, there's never like a big goodbye. Like, you're always like, you're definitely going to see this person again. There's never like, bye, until next time. It's just like, bye. Like, I might know I'm only seeing you in 2 months, but I'm not going to make a big goodbye out of it. Whereas my family, like, every phone call, okay, bye, okay, see you later, bye. And Sihle hates it. I feel like everything just flows at your parents' house. Like, it's just,
My shock is going to be in 2 parts. One, Anika herself. The thing that shocks me to this day still is her skin. When it gets cold, when it gets hot, it changes colors. That to me is weird. It's so weird. Like she'll turn blue. And then she'll have a bruise. Like now it looks like I'm abusive. Like her skin changes colors. When it's hot, turns pink. When it's cold, turns blue. It's like, what is happening to you? Yeah. And then the second one, when it comes to a family, they don't know how to say goodbye. It will drag on for years. Like, bye. Okay, bye. Bye. Okay, bye now. We're done. We're done. It's like, bye. Okay. And then another conversation. Bye. Okay. Like, why are we doing this? Can we just leave? We'll see each other.
Everyone.
Because in my home, it's I see you. Bye-bye. I'll see you again. I'm leaving you forever and we're never going to see me. It's like I'm saying goodbye for the last time. That's weird to me.
I feel like on my social media, people think Sihle is very quiet and shy, and I just want to put it out there that he's not. But shame, I guess, like, he needs to be comfortable with people. Then he's not. So I get why people would think that.
I only talk to the people I know. So when I'm around people who don't know me, I don't talk.
Yeah.
But when I'm around people I know, I will talk a lot. So most people always say I'm shy. But it's just, I'm not shy towards, I'm just very reserved. So when it's people I don't know, I will be basically analyzing you. I'll study you. I'll just keep quiet and just watch your every move.
Because on TikTok, people are like, Sihle, if you need help, like call us, we'll come fetch you. And I just want to like put it out there that he's okay. Like he can also be crazy sometimes. That's just how we are.
She's just crazy.
He's okay.
She's crazy. Yeah. And a lot of people tend to think that Anika is a lot. Like because she's such a character, she has so much energy and vibe. But the best way to deal with Anika is to let her be.
I don't like being told what to do.
She's a rebel at heart. So you just have to let her be and let her do her own thing. And that's how we work, you know.